All right, this is Daf Yomi in motion number 819. Today we're going to learn Daf Tzadik Tes in Metzia, and we're going to be speaking about Chalois Chiyuve Hashe'ela. When does the Chiyuvim that a Shoyel has, do they come into effect? At the Mesira, is it the Mesira? And which it is, but let's say he is using a Shliach to bring him the object that he's borrowing. So then, when will his chiyuvim come to effect? We'll begin the Mishnah on Tzadik Ches Amid Beis at the bottom. Zakta Helika Mishnah Hashoyel es hapara. He's borrowing a par. Sholcho lo biad beno. Now he's sending it in the hand of the son of the Mashiel. Biad Abdo, or he's in the hand of the Eved of the Mashiel. Biad Shlucha, or of the Shliach of the Mashiel. O Biad Beno, and this is the Beno of the Shoyel. Biad Abdo of the Shoyel, Biad Shlucha of Shel Shoyel. So in all of those cases, the mace, if the animal will die as it's being brought, pater, the Shoyel's pater, because the person. The Mashiel decided to send it to on his own by way of these people, and the Shoyel never asked for it to be sent to him in this way. So therefore, even if it's of the Eved of the Shoyel, and if it's even of the son of the Shoyel, it's still considered in the Rishus of the Mashiel until it actually gets to the Shoyel himself. However, if the Shoyel's told the Mashiel, we'll see. The Mishnah explains that Omar Lo Hashoyel, the Mashiel is the lender, the lender. The Omar Lo, if the Shoyel, the borrower, told the Mashiel to send him the par to him, Sholcha li biad beni, send it in the hand of my son. Biad Abdi in the hand of my Eved, Biad Shluchi in the hand of my Shliach. Oh, send it in the hand of your people. Oh, biad bincha, biad abdecha, biad shluchecha. Or she'omar lo. So in any of this, he asked for it to be sent in that way. Or she'omar lo, or even if the Mashiel told him, Omar lo Mashiel, hareini mishalcha lecha. I'm sending it to you, biad beni, in the hand of my son, biad abdi, in the hand of my Eved, biad shluchi, in the hand of my shliach. O biad bin chor, or I'm sending it to you in the hand of your son, biad avdecha, biad shluchacha. And then the Shoyel said, send, meaning he was masking to it being done that way. Then it's all going to be in either, like we just mentioned, when the Shoyel asked for it, or when the Mashiel began telling him how he was going to send it, and the Shoyel said, okay. Omar le Hashoyel shalach, do it, and then it's sent. V'sholcha v'meisa, and then he dies. Then the para died. Chai of the Shoyel will be responsible for his own sin, for all of his chiyuvim, from that point that it leaves the reshus of the Mashiel and is in the hand of the shliach being brought to him. And even in so too, when he's bringing it back, both of those same types of cases will still apply. And if the Mashiel didn't ask for it to be sent by way of those people, it'll be considered that it's still in the shoes of the Shoyel all the way until it gets to the hand of the Mashiel.
So Mashiel and Malbit synonymous?
Right, because the Mashiel is the one who lent it out, and the Malbit is the one who has initiated the loan. So he's the one who lent out the money, and the loiva is the one who borrowed the money, and the shoyel is the one who borrowed the object. Gemara says that we just mentioned in our Mishnah, biyat avdo chayev, that if it is sent in the hand of the Eved of the Mashiel, that the shoyel, like the Mishnah just said, whoever borrowed a para, and it was sent to him in the hand of his, even of the Abdu of the Mashil, the shoyel will be his potter. But if it was sent in the hand of the Evid of the Mashil, and the shoyel said, okay, send it, then he will be chayav. Then it will be considered the reshus. Even if it's the Evid of the Mashil, it will be considered the shus of the shoyel, because the shoyel said that it would be okay to do it that way. So the Gemara says, beyond Avdo Chayev, we see a case where it's being sent by way of the Evid of the Mashil, and the shoyel is going to be Chayev. How can that be? Yad Evid ki Yad Rabo. So therefore, it should be considered the hand of the Mashil the whole time until it actually leaves the hand of the Evid. So if anything happens to it or in the hand of the Evid, that should be considered the reshus of the Mashil. Biyad Avdo Chayev. So we said Biyad Avdo Chayev. Yad Evid ki Yad Rabo. How can we be saying that even if the shoyel said Shalach, send it that way, still should not be Chayev, because the hand of that Evid is mamash the hand of the Rabo, and if it's in the hand of the Rabo, so the Rabo, the Mashil, should be the one responsible. Almost Shmuel answered, how can this be that he can be Chayev the Evid of the Mashil? The shoyel can still be Chayev. Shmuel Omar Shmuel be'Evid Ivri. Shelo Koni legufe. That it's an Evid Ivri. An Evid Ivri doesn't, that klal of Yad Evid ki Yad Rabo does not apply by an Evid Ivri. And therefore, once it physically left the chutzir, the reshus of the mashil, then it's considered. And since we are talking that the shoyel said shalach, send it, so then it can be considered now the responsibility of the shoyel, because we don't have that klal of Yad Evid ki Yad Rabo when it comes to an Evid Ivri, because the owner doesn't own the goof of an Evid Ivri. He only has reshus over the tashmish of the Evid Ivri, of the usage of his services, but he doesn't own the goof of the Evid. Hashem owns the goof of the Yid. But an Evid Kanani, a person that owns an Evid Kanani, does own the goof of the Evid. And therefore, his hand would be like the owner's hand. And that's the answer according to Shmuel. Rav gives a different answer. Rav Omar Filu Tema the Evid Kanani. We could even be talking about an Evid Kanani. So how can it be that it will be, just because the shoyel said shalach, that it now becomes considered the reshus of the shoyel? It's an Evid Kanani, and he's the property of the mashil, of the owner. Should still be considered the hand of the owner. Rav answers, afilu tema be'Evid Kanani, nase ke'omerle hakisha b'makel v'hi tavo. We can just say that it's like it was when the shoyel said shalach, send it. It was similar to him telling the owner, the mashil, that just hit the para with a stick, and it'll leave your reshus and it'll come to me. That's what he was. That was a type of communication that was going on. Meaning, and so when he sends it in the hand of his Evid, it was under those same type of idea. Just get it out of your reshus, and I'll take responsibility for it. Meaning, the shoyel was mekabel al nafshay, that as soon as it will leave the reshus of the mashil, he will be responsible for it. Doesn't matter how it will get out of the reshus of the mashil. He's taking that responsibility. Even if you would hit the par with a stick and it would walk out of the chutzah of the mashil, at that moment when it crosses the line into the shus rabin, the shoyel is taking responsibility. And even if he gives it to the hand of his Evid and it walks out of the reshus, that was like an agreement. The shoyel is then taking responsibility, and that's how it could be that even in the hand, once the shoyel said shalach, send it that way, that he is now responsible, because it's as though this is his meaning behind shalach means just get it out of your reshus, and I accept responsibility for it from that point on. In fact, the Gemara, we're going to see the opposite. We're going to see, it says meisvei hashoyel hapara, someone who's borrowing a para, v'sholchaloi, and it's being sent to him by way of biyad beno, biyad shlucho, biyad, in the hand of the son of the mashil, or the son, or the hand of the shliach of the mashil. And like in the case where the shoyel said shalach, send it, shoyel will be chayev. However, in this brisa, if he had sent it in the hand of his eved of the mashil, in that case, the shoyel will be potter, even if he said shalach. Biyad avdo potter. We're suspecting that it's for that reason, because of yad eved kiyad rabo, and it's a kasha on our Mishnah. So the Gemara says, if you look at the answers that we got from Shmuel and Rav, the Gemara says that Shmuel's answer that we're dealing with in our Mishnah with an Eved Ivri, not an Eved Kanani, then we could understand the difference between our Mishnah and the Brisa. Our Mishnah can be talking about where he's, in that case, he would be Chayev. The Shoyel, when he said Shalach, could be Chayev because he asked for it to be sent out, and it's not an Eved Kanani that the owner owns the goof of the per Eved. It's an Eved Ivri. So as soon as it will leave the Rishus of the Mashia, we can understand how the Shoyel would be responsible for that from that point on. That's according to Shmuel, but according to Rav, we're going to have trouble because Rav says even with an Eved Kanani, we could understand in our Mishnah that it's because he meant that just get it out of your shoes and I'll take responsibility for it. According to Rav, why would there be a difference between our Mishnah and the Brisa? They should, under the same types of conditions, they should both be chayev. The shoyel should be chayev for the object, for his responsibilities of the para, for its own sin, in both cases. So this Gemara says, Bishleim Shmuel, that he explained that our Mishnah is the shoyel is chayev because it was an Eved Ivri, and it was no longer the hand of the Rabbo. Masnisin be'Eved Ivri, Brisa be'Eved Kanani, and that's why the Brisa would be potter because the Yad Eved would be like the Yad Rabbo, and he would be. It would still be considered in the rishus of the Adon of the Mashil until it mamish leaves the hand of the Eved. Elul Rav, we're gonna have a kasha. Right, so the Bryce is in Eved Kanani. Elul Rav, that he said that the way our Mishnah was working was that the shoyel would be chayav on the oinsin because he, like we just said, because he made that it was just like a condition to the mashil that as soon as it leaves your property, I will take responsibility. Is mishabed him nafsho, he will take responsibility as soon as it leaves his rishus of the mashil. Then it shouldn't make any difference between the Mishnah and this brisa. El Rav Kasha, the answer would be Omar lach Rav. So we could say like this: Lo tema nase ke'omer, like we just suggested, that it becomes as though he said to the mashil, just get it out of your rishus and I'll be mishabed myself to take responsibility from that point, and therefore it doesn't make any difference how it gets out of the mashil's rishus. Rather, he didn't say nase ke'omer. He said specifically, take it out of your rishus and I will be responsible. Because nase ke'omer means that even if he didn't say those words, we look at it as though that's what he was implying, and therefore it should apply. It would always be that way, and therefore it should have been applied both to the Mishnah and to the Brisa. That every time that the shoyel will say shalach, it's like it's nasei ka'omer. It's as though we look at it as though he said, "Just get it out of your shoes, and I will take responsibility." But if we say that that's exactly what he said in our Mishnah, then we could say that will be the difference. That in our Mishnah he exactly said it will be just get it out of your shoes, and I will take responsibility. And the Mishnah will be the case where he didn't state it out clearly, and since he didn't state it out clearly, then with the Eved Kanani, it would be like the Yad Rabo, and the shoyel would be potter, and that would be the Brisa. So Amalach Rab lo tema nase ke'omer ela ema be'omar le hachish b'makel v'hi tova. Rather say that the shoyel said, just hit it with a stick and send it out of your shoes, and I'll take responsibility for it from there. And therefore, that would be our Mishnah. That's why the shoyel could be chayev because he has responsibility for the animal from that point on.
Tell the slave to hit it with a stick?
No, he's telling the mashil when he says shalach, so he says, do it. So we're saying he specifically said, oh, just hit it with a stick and I'll take care of it as soon as it gets out of your shoes.
So how does the slave come into that?
So because the mashil is trying to send it either through his son or through a slave or through a shliach, and the shoyel says shalach, says hit it with a stick and I'll take care of it from that point on. So that what that means is any way that you get it out of your shoes, I'll take responsibility for it. So the mashil happened to have gotten it out of his shoes by putting it in the hand of his Ebed Kanani. And so we don't look at it as the hand of the owner. The hand of the Ebed is not looked at as the hand of the owner because the stipulation was just get it out of your shoes and I'll take responsibility for it. But that would be our Mishnah. But the Brisa would be when he didn't say that, and therefore the hand of the Ebed was still considered the hand of the owner, and that's why the Shoyel in the Brisa is Potter. The Itmar, and this is the explanation, the Itmar, Hashileni paroscha, like he said, lend me your para, but Amarle biad me, who do you want me to send it in? But Amarle, hechisha b'makel v'tovo, just hit it with a stick, and it will come. And then the owner, the Masha, just put it into the hand of his Ebed, and sent it out. And that was like the same idea. So Omar Rab Nachman, Omar Rabba Bar Avua, Omar Rab in the name of Rab. Kevin Shiyotzas Mirishus Ma'ashil. Once it would go out of the shoes of the lender, the Mashil, the Mesa, and it would die, so Chayim. So the Shoyel was then Chayim, because he said, I'll take responsibility for it as soon as it leaves the reshus of the Mashil. And that's basically the idea that we just speaking out. Name of Messiah, and then we can support that from a Brisa, Messiah Hashileni paroscha. The person said, lend me your para. For Amarle, biad me. Who do you want me to send it to you with? For Amarle, hachisha b'makel v'hi tavo. Just hit it with a stick and it'll come to me. Kevin sheyotzes mirishus mashil, and then the din is that as soon as it will leave the rishus of the mashil, the mesa, and if it would die, chayev, the shoyel would then be chayev because he accepted on himself that responsibility. And that's just the support for what we were saying.